Hey everyone, it's your girl Maddie here, aka Beaver Mosh, and today I am joined by Seven Kingdoms, whose latest EP, The Square, is coming out on Reigning Phoenix Music on November 8th. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time to join me this evening. How are we doing?
Awesome. Thank you for having us. Doing really well, just hunkering down for this potential hurricane that's heading our way. But
Not
Hmm.
potential. Now it's gonna
yeah,
be like a category 5.
yeah. But
Hey, we're
other than that,
good.
we're doing pretty well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
how
thanks for
how is it in Florida right now with all of this going on?
uh,
Oh man, I mean, it's pretty chaotic. People are
Yeah,
panicking, buying everything you could possibly imagine. No gas.
yeah.
It's just
I've been a door dashing the last or today even, and it's just the stuff I've seen is crazy.
I'm
Traffic,
sure.
gas stations are fucking
so.
packed.
Yeah, we're just hoping for the best and
Yeah.
gonna hunker down and get through it.
Yeah, well,
So,
stay safe out there.
all right. Well, thank you.
Well, let's talk about the music. You have this new EP coming out. Um,
Mm.
is this a preview of kind of what's coming up for the band, or is this kind of just a stopgap that you're putting in between the two albums? What do you think this EP provides for listeners?
Um, I think I mean I believe this kind of a preview of what's to come. We decided to do the EP route just to kind of get a little bit of new music out there and
Hmm.
just and then kind of but we've mostly got I think the majority of the record written at this point.
Cool.
So I would say like everything from the square is going to be like that's very it's going to be similar to what the actual record is going to be. I think so.
Yeah,
Hmm.
similar. Yeah, I think the EP has a lot of variety on it. So, and the rest of the songs we're working on right now do too. So just from that way, there's a lot, just a lot of different. I think it's gonna be pretty similar.
When a band does put out an EP like this, is kind of the idea, at least maybe for you, just like we don't have a record yet, but let's put something out just to keep momentum, keep our name out there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of because it's been. I mean, it's been a couple years
It's
since
been two
we. Yeah,
years.
it's been about two years, I guess. Well, since we put out a album, and we thought maybe just start with a EP is almost like a little teaser,
Hmm.
just kind of get maybe a little bit of excitement or something of what's to come.
And
And
also something we can tour on with because we want to tour again, but we gotta have something new to play. Need
Yeah.
that. So it was a nice to have tours. We put out an EP and tour on it, and then the album, another tour, so on and so forth.
yeah.
Now, tell me, because if we're being honest, power metal for some reason tends to be a hard sell in the US. Obviously, in Europe, it's a completely different story. So, like, tell, US audiences what to listen for in terms of what makes great power metal versus just average power metal.
Oh man,
That's a good
that's a
question.
good question. Yeah. I mean, we've been, power metal fans since I mean, for the majority of our lives. I also
Yeah.
listen to lots of other genres of music. I think, honestly, I think this EP reflects it a little bit. We went with
Hmm.
a little bit. I mean, it's definitely power metal for the most
Yeah,
part,
but it
but
touched on different genres a little bit, I
yeah,
think.
maybe a little heavier stuff here and
Yeah,
there, like like maybe slightly getting into the I don't want to say core, but like a metalcore ish type. But I mean,
different. But
yeah,
back to the question, but my favorite thing about power metal is I like power metal with character, Like I always loved Halloween and
Yeah.
Blind Guardian and just like I don't know, it's almost like the band is jamming instead of
Hmm.
just, stock, verse, chorus, free chorus, or verse, free
Yeah.
chorus, chorus, bridge.
yeah,
So I
it's
like
like the feel.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like it's I don't know something about yeah, like that jam vibe where you just kind of like a bunch of musicians that are passionate about what they do, just get together and just start riffing and jamming, and next thing you know, a song's kind of made. I think that I like to think you can kind of hear that in a lot of music. It's like this is like it's these musicians are actually passionate about what they do, and they've created something that they enjoy, and that hopefully the rest of the world will enjoy as well, or at least a niche audience. So,
Yeah, when I listen to like those classic, say, Gamma Ray or Angra or Blind Guardian records, they're
mhm.
anthemic. It feels like you're joining in on this triumphant chorus where there are
Oh yeah,
power metal albums that I've heard that are just this is just kind of just a song. It's generic, and that's when
Yeah,
the corniness really takes over when there's none of that kind of muscle to it.
yeah.
right. Like,
Yeah.
That's the death of power metal is being generic. I don't know. I'm just
I mean,
I've
yeah,
heard it too.
yeah. It's
It
like
happens.
Blind Guardians, my all-time favorite band. One of my biggest influences, and I mean, we all like them, as well as like Keith said, Halloween. A lot of the
Yeah.
classic stuff. Um, I mean, I hope that it reflects a little bit in our music. That we try to. Uh, I mean, I think sometimes bands that sound more generic, it's maybe their heart's just not fully into it. I don't know, and I'm not really sure, but I hope
Yeah,
that our music doesn't come off like that. 'Cause we definitely don't
we
write.
don't try.
We
Yeah,
don't.
we don't write to. You know, I almost want to say like we never know what song is going to, when we write it.
Yeah,
Because
we don't
it's like
really
we're not
think
like,
about that too
okay,
much.
this is
But
singles, right? I don't know if other bands think like that too. I imagine something or like
yeah,
a
Yeah.
business aspect, like a
I
yeah, like a
So let me ask you, you've already kind of answered it, but at least maybe with this EP, what makes it different than say other power metal out there? You mentioned it heavier, and I do get that. When I listened to the EP, I heard some thrashy elements in there, but I'd like to hear it in your own words.
this one.
Yeah.
it's I that's it's a good question because I'm not. I mean, I don't really know to be honest, but I want to believe that like it's like when I set out to write a song or Camden or when we all get together and jam and stuff, it's just there's not really too much of a thought of like, okay, this is going to be like this, that. I mean, maybe occasionally like we'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, I kind of want to do this or that, but
And
for the most part, it's something that kind of just like it just kind of comes out. And we're like, oh, then me and Camden will give that look to each other, like, oh, okay,
yeah.
that's kind
Mhm.
of cool. Or I'll look at Keith.
And it always naturally comes out, and it's kind of depending on like what y'all been listening to the past month or
I mean,
whatever.
sure, yeah,
It's just, and like y'all been experimenting with heavier stuff. But
yeah, and I mean, maybe I guess you could say. I mean, I want to say like maybe something that separates this from I don't know some power metal is a slightly treading into a bit of a heavier territory here and there,
Mm.
and just because we've always enjoyed like drop C tuning guitars and just like heavier like breakdowns sometimes, but with like melody behind it.
yeah,
Sure.
Just like love the idea of heavy guitars.
tasteful break.
Always love the idea of heavy guitars and like even breakdowns, but with like a solid foundation of like melody and something that I guess you could say catchy.
Yeah.
But I don't know what really makes it too much different. I just know that we all enjoy this music personally,
I don't think you really thought that it was going to be different, but
Uh,
it comes out different just because we're different people with every album.
I'm
Yeah.
curious to see what people think.
Yeah, me too.
Honestly.
Honestly,
But
Well, it must be working because you put out a number of records now, and you are now on Reigning Phoenix, which is a record label that has, my God, has a stacked lineup. I mean, I'm looking at some of the names. You got Meshuggah,
yeah.
Amorphous, Ordinogan,
Oh,
Angra, Halloween,
yeah, they
yeah.
just
Opeth. So
yeah.
many bands. What is it like to be label mates with so many iconic artists like this?
We're still in shock.
Yeah, it's still, I mean, we've been doing this, I mean, 17 years now,
I can't
right?
believe
I mean, it's been
Yeah.
a long time, and we've dabbled, we've had a couple of record labels in the past. We had, and none of them really helped us much in the in the
And
long run.
this one is so different. It's like
This
we've never experienced this from a label before. It's like, oh my god, this is an actual label,
Yeah.
Like RPM definitely seems like they're really trying to get behind us and they see potential in us and they're trying to actually help us like potentially fulfill what we
what
could
we've been trying to do for
yeah
17 years.
and the fact that the roster is so awesome You know, like a lot of our favorite bands are on that. It's just like, man, it's humbling. It's just like, shit, we got to really like, step up our game and just like, keep doing what we're doing and take, we of course we take it seriously, but just like it's maybe a bit overwhelming to think about at times, but it's very fortunate to be in this situation to know these people that are willing to help us and put in some effort into this, the music that we love to make and play. So
Hmm.
it's awful.
Still in shock, I would definitely say.
Yeah. Yeah.
How did the connection happen? Did they reach out to you? Did you kind of submit music to them? What was the conversation like there?
I think it all came down to Camden. Camden has been doing tour managing for years now, and he like that's kind of like his, the other thing he does, in addition to being a part of Seven Kingdoms. So by doing that, he's been able to build up a great reputation with just different labels, different management, different like bands and stuff. He's really great at what he does.
We got to
And
shout out Maurizio.
yeah, big shout out to
Because he really,
Maurizio Distortion Music. He really took an interest in us early on,
he really
and
helped us.
he helped us a lot. And he kind of like started to put things in place, like got in touch with people, and it just kind of rolled from there.
Yeah.
So Camus connections, Maurizio, and it's just got very fortunate,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of luck and a lot of hard work. Yeah. But,
You have a US tour coming up with Stryker and Utharo, but also as well, and one thing I want to ask about is you have this European tour coming up, and I see the shirt. You're playing with a personal favorite of mine, Unleash the Archers.
oh yeah.
How
Oh
did
yeah.
how the hell did that connection form? Did you have connections with this band in the past?
It's
We toured with them. What year? 2018.
No, 2021. Remember?
Oh
It
yeah,
was
that's right.
we that's how yeah, we got that tour it was post, well,
Yeah,
like
because it was
when
right after.
things started opening up, like after the pandemic kind of, and we did that North American tour with them in 2021. I think it was August. And we just kind of built a relationship with them because they're just all awesome people.
Yeah.
And like, like we respected them and I think they respected us. They saw the hard work we were doing. We did ourselves. We didn't have any like label support or anything at the time. We just had a van and a trailer and just got out there and just we opened, and we just honestly we just built up a great relationship with them. And since then, like they we talked to them and they're like, whenever we go to Europe, we'd like to have you and Stryker with us. So we're like, hell yeah, like let's go. Like it's a awesome package in my opinion. And
Yeah.
love UTA. Awesome, fucking great people, awesome band. It's very fortunate.
Can't wait to share a bus with them.
Yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
I think Apex is, I think it's safe to say it's a modern classic. Like it is just an
Yeah.
incredible record.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I agree. Seeing them perform, those songs live, it was honestly I think it helped us to grow as musicians and performers. Just be able to see them, for 26 shows in a row on the tour, just like going out there and just being awesome, and it's just like it was inspirational for us. It made us want to up our game and just yeah, inspiring and just yeah, they're awesome.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Well, now I want to ask you, when you talk about touring and you say you're seeing a band play, these songs 26 times, you're also playing your songs 26 times. How I've always wanted to ask bands this. I don't know why I don't ask this more often, but when you are playing the same set over and over again, how does it stay fresh? How do you keep like wanting to do it every night? Like how does it not get boring?
I mean, I guess I mean for me, it never gets boring for me just because I mean maybe there are times like halfway through the tour where it's like regardless of how awesome the tour is and the people is like you just kind of have that longing to just kind of like man I just kind of want to be home for a little bit.
Yeah.
But for me at least, I can only speak for myself. As like whenever I get on stage and there's like an awesome crowd, and they're just like, man, they're just hungry for live music, and maybe they don't even know who you are, but they're just enthusiastic and just awesome. It's just like that passion just, just like that, it's back. I'm just like, now I just want to play this music that I love, even though I played it 100 times. I love this, and I want them to see that I love it, and hopefully I want them to love it as well.
Yeah.
So it's just, usually it's the audience that really just keeps reigniting that passion, I think, over and over again.
Yeah.
So,
And also I think when we play so many shows, like we get tighter. So like every time it's like, oh, how tight can we get this time?
yeah, that's
So
true.
it's like when you
Yeah.
hit good shows and when you're nailing tight shows, it's like, I don't know, it's just a great feeling and just a great audience.
Yeah, get that tour XP up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you talk about the audience as kind of like the driving force. When you've opened for these bands before, or done when you aren't the headliner and played these shows, have you, and you mentioned people not recognize, maybe not even knowing who you are at the time. Have you
Yeah.
had people come up to you and say, "Wow, I love that set. I want to listen to more of your music." Have you made like new fans? Do you think you have
Yeah,
through these?
all the time. And
Yeah.
I think that's what part of it too is like we're when we open, we're like, okay, we're playing for new people that never heard us before. So that makes us excited. That keeps it
Yeah.
not boring because it's like, okay, we got to show these people what we're about.
Yeah,
That's a big part of touring, just like trying to get people to hear you and playing songs right.
and it's awesome. And we do, like, we're very fortunate. We heard that quite a bit on a lot of in Europe too. Like when we're opening and stuff like this, a lot of people say, like, wow, I can't believe you've been a band for however long. We never heard of you. And I was like, well, you heard of us now, and usually they say like, oh, I like it.
Yeah.
So that's another driving force. We find like, yes, like we won that person over or that person over. And it's just like, it just makes you want to keep doing it and just see how many
then the
people.
excitement's back,
Yeah, it's
I mean, when I go to a show, it's happened a few times this year where I like I really like a band and I'll see a band's opening that I wasn't familiar with, and I will usually try to like listen to a record by the of that opening band before I go to the show. So maybe it's like familiar, and maybe I really enjoy it. Like there's always like a reason for me to check out the opener. Like I'm one who does that. So, and I know lots of people
cool.
are. So
Oh yeah,
Yeah, if I was, I'd check out.
yeah.
um well, for those who haven't seen your band yet, why should they come to a show? If they're coming to your city, why should they come? If you are coming to someone's city, sell yourself. Why should they come see your band?
I mean, I really do think at this point in our career at this point, like we've been doing this for going on 17 years now, and I do think that it, I think that we do what we do well. I mean, and I think that at least I've heard a lot of people say like they can kind of see the passion, like when we're playing on stage, and that kind of, we've had quite a few people say that they've got excited because they see us on stage and we're kind of excited and into it. We're like playing to the crowd, and
Yeah.
because we legitimately enjoy doing it, and I think that if you want to see a band, get on stage and not just, I don't know, and just interact with you and like show you that they love this music and they're here for a reason. And I think that for me, that's live music. I want to go to a show and I want to see that enthusiasm and that passion and that
Yeah.
love for the music that they're playing. And I do think that we bring it in that regard. So if you enjoy live music and if you want to see it being performed passionately and enthusiastically, like, come see us. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know what to, I just that's what I love at least.
Yeah.
So
Well, you mentioned that you've been a band for about 17 years, and you put out your first record in 2007. I'm wondering, how have you evolved as a band in that 17 years?
oh man. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's funny. Like you look back at that first record, and look, I do appreciate that record a lot. And but I can tell, like, I do think that you can hear the experience just from growing as a musician, getting better and trying to get better, and you can hear it from the first Brothers of the Night even to our second album, and I think it was like 2010 or something, the self-titled. There's a lot of growth, I think, from those albums until now, and it's because we're better. I mean, that's all there is to it. Like we were really young back then. I'm not saying you can't be good if you're young, but I mean, like I was 19 years old, and it's just I just wasn't knowledgeable enough about, and
Yeah.
maybe the direction wasn't quite there. Like we didn't really know, we didn't find the style of music we were truly, like truly passionate about. I
Yeah.
think, so, and I think when I listen to those records, like Brothers of the Night or the self-titled album, like I hear a little bit of a lack of passion, at least from my part, because I feel like I was just kind of novice and just didn't.
Yeah, I don't know if
I
it's a lack of talent. I think we like grow into ourselves
Yeah,
every album and stuff like that.
that's true. Maybe a lack of passion isn't true, but
Yeah,
I think
just
we were a bit
lack of
hindered by our
experience.
experience
Yeah,
and abilities of the time. I think, and
yeah,
our just general knowledge of music or music production,
Yeah.
and
I guess we're
Well,
kind of still forming our sound.
yeah.
You know.
So
oh yeah.
really funny story about your first record because I was doing some research, before this interview, as I do with most interviews, and I looked at the lineup of that first record, and I had
Mhm.
no fucking clue. Um, I am kind of an online friend with Lux of Soul Mass, has been on this show
Oh,
to talk about like video games and metal, like is a friend of the show. Had no
hmm.
idea that they were your first vocalist.
Yeah, yeah. And like I feel, we haven't really hung out or spoken in a very long time, but like I've always had great respect. Corey too, Corey, old bassist,
Yeah,
like on that first album, like
Yeah.
awesome, like, awesome guy. But
yeah. Lux. I remember. I still remember the first day when Bloody Meadow, the chorus to the Bloody Meadow when I first heard it. I was like, "This is it!"
yeah,
Just all the
big
choir.
big shout to Lux and
Yeah,
Soul Mass, and like Lux, like the lyrics, like he, they were like a master at anything and everything George R. R. Martin. Like
and he
just
or such a good writer. Um,
great lyricist.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely great lyricist, great vocals. And that album like started everything for us.
yeah,
I mean that was
Mm.
the first album. So
yeah.
You you put out already the opening title track as kind of a lead single. And I'm just curious why that track? Why was that the track you wanted to put out first?
I think we wanted to do something, something still fast that would catch people, attention and power metal, but also
yeah, I
I
think
don't know why we chose
yeah, I mean,
it.
I guess the square, it just, I think we felt like in a way it kind of captured our sound currently, or as of the past, quite a
Yeah,
few years since, even Decennium or,
yeah. Well, yeah. I think it kind of
um,
embodies the sound of the EP, and hopefully, well, I don't know. When the album comes out, we might have a new song that embodies the
yeah,
sound
that's
of it.
true.
Yeah.
But
But we just thought it was a solid song. We liked it, and we wanted to just come out the gate with like
something fast and like
catchy, melodic, like everything you
catchy
would
and still
kind of
heavy and
think of
still
Seven Kingdoms at this point.
yeah,
So
a little bit of throwback and a little bit of new stuff. Good combo.
Yeah. Um, I want to go back a little bit. I want to go back to 2010. Um, when the Legends, Blind Guardian, asked you to hop on tour
oh,
with them, how pivotal of a moment was that for your band and kind of your evolution?
oh,
Mm.
that's one tour that I wish so badly I could, do again.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
knowing what I know now and being more experienced. 'Cause we were, 2010. We were only a few years into, the band, and it was. I mean, honestly, it was. I mean, it's hard. They're Blind Guardian, my favorite band. They were my favorite band back then. They're my favorite band now. So being able to tour with them was just like I was in complete shock. Just fanning out pretty much the whole time. But it was, and I think that tour for us, because that was our first like actual tour, other than
Yeah,
just some local stuff around Florida or up, a couple states up or whatever.
yeah,
And that tour, like, really, like, when that tour was done, we were a different band, I believe, at that
Hmm.
point. We learned so much, and just playing those shows, like 25 shows, back to back, and being able to watch a 2 hour Blind Guardian set
yeah,
every
every
night
night.
and watched every single one. I didn't miss a single one. And just being able to talk to them and just like see how they are and see their gear and just like it
I
was,
I think that tour like set it all.
Yeah.
It was
yeah,
like, oh my god, this is what we need
yeah.
to do.
And we were thrown into the deep end, definitely. Like definitely thrown into the deep end. We probably weren't really ready
Yeah,
for it.
even like
But
today or every now and then, like we were so stupid back then, because we had no
yeah,
idea.
it worked out well for
Yeah,
us. But
maybe it'll happen again. Cross my
yeah,
fingers.
Were you
that
able to
would be
kind of speak to Hamsey a lot, kind of pick his brain, get advice and like, for your band and it kind of soak in their knowledge and their experience?
yeah,
A little bit, but I still think we were too young. I was so like shy to even talk to him half the time. That
yeah.
I remember talking to Frederick a few times, just asking him some tips and stuff, especially with like tuning and like drum
The
tuning
drums,
and stuff like
yeah,
that. And their sound guy
yeah.
was really cool.
And I know like Hansi, he would always make a point to come up to us like whenever like
Hmm.
he was the coolest guy. Like he would never like blow us off. He would never treat us like we're lesser. He'd always come up, how you guys doing? You guys doing good?
Yeah,
Enjoying the tour? We're just like,
giving us
yeah,
the meats and stuff they had
yeah,
left
just
over. It's like, go
extra
get those.
catering. Like,
Yeah,
here, take this
I was
extra
like, oh,
catering.
awesome.
And just genuinely sweet people, like all of them. Andre, Marcus, they were all just genuinely awesome people, and just I mean, I wish if I could go back, I wish I would have
Picked their brains
picked their
more.
brains a little
Yeah,
more,
yeah.
But
Yeah.
at the time, it was just
Hindsight is 2020.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Just we're young, dumb, and inexperienced, and very shy and intimidated. It's just the
Yeah.
way we were back then.
It's
But we
fucking
still
Blind Guardian. I mean, like, how could you not be
yeah,
intimidated?
yeah, we were just like, oh my god, like I just don't.
It's like
Yeah,
let's get back, let's
yeah,
hide for a moment,
yeah.
and get the shit off the stage now.
But they were genuinely awesome
Yeah,
people.
they're great.
Never had a bad. Always nice to us. Always helpful. Just never treat us wrong. And that was
Yeah.
that was the one of the greatest things about that tour. And just like, yes, my heroes are really awesome.
Cool. Yeah, yeah.
So it was.
Yeah. I've heard that about Hansi. I've heard he's just a genuinely good person. Um,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I saw Blind Guardian on their most recent US tour.
Mhm.
Holy shit. Like that's the like singing along to how they do Valhalla live where they kind of cut it down to
Uh,
just the drums and just like a
yeah.
cappella. Every goosebumps, every single one.
Yeah. It's amazing. It was amazing.
Hansi's voice, and I love Hansi's stage presence.
Yeah,
Like,
he
that's
has
always like
that
I don't
just
know,
that
just something I've always
confidence.
Sometimes I don't like when bands kind of just like interrupt their set all the time to kind of talk in between every single song. But Hansi did that and cool. Like I was like that you could do that. You could do that. Yeah.
Yeah, you could do that. And he's always,
Yeah.
just
And his
something.
voice, he's so charming.
Yeah, he's very
like-
charming, just sweet, charismatic.
You want to
It's
listen to
just,
singing
yeah,
or talking.
yeah, love that guy.
It was somebody, I forgot who. It was one of the Blind Guardian members' birthday, and he led the entire audience in happy birthday. It was just really fun.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's cool. I
Yeah.
could see him.
That's a memorable show. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Um, there was when I was listening to this EP, there was one track on the record that I wanted to ask about particularly because I thought it was interesting, and that would be The Serpent and the Lotus. Because
Okay.
on one hand, it is seemingly a lot heavier than the other tracks on the record, in my opinion. And also, I don't know if this is something you do normally, but on this track in particular, you play with a lot of interesting like synthesizers and electronic effects. I'm wondering how did the framework for that come about?
Well, yeah, like that's something I think we started experimenting with on the last album.
Yeah.
And it's all programmed. We just
No shame. But
yeah,
but
we
honestly, like Camden learned all that stuff. And and just after the songs are written, we go in and say, okay, what kind of melody, what kind of support Sabrina's vocals, or
Support
support
the music and
the heavy, a contrast with the heaviness, you know.
or just give it atmosphere. And that's another thing too, is we all kind of started gravitating in the past like quite a few years, or at least I have, you know, I know Camden has, to more like we kind of really enjoy electronic synthy stuff, like synth wave ish, you know, and stuff. And
Yeah.
I've always been kind of fascinated with that, and I've enjoyed it like in metal music, you know. So I thought, you know, why don't we like kind of just put some stuff? It was just add more texture, add something
Yeah.
more interesting. Like when you're listening to it, like we want you to think like, you know, there's always something else going on in there. It just adds depth to it.
Yeah,
And I
like
just
layers
and I've
layers.
always I like that, you know. We got the heavy guitars and we got a little bit of textured like melodies going on in the background. And Sabrina, it's just like it's we like the layering, you know. It's always something kind of to hear.
Yeah.
So, but all electronic, all programmed, but you know, it still came out pretty cool, I think.
Maybe one day we'll get a keyboardist again.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna have fun with this, and I'm gonna kind of put you on the spot. But I
Oh, man.
want you to educate my audience and give me. I don't necessarily want the most, just three essential power metal records in your opinion. What are three that people need to listen to?
Three each.
Yeah, let's go three each. Let's get a good base here.
Imaginations from the Other Side by Blind
Oh,
Guardian.
Obvious, yes.
That's that's my all-time favorite Blind Guardian album, and one I think one of the best. I mean, see, this is going to be very hard for me to not just put three Blind Guardian albums on there. So I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try not to do that. I don't know, Keith, you go. What do you think? Halloween.
Yeah. Shoot. I guess I would say not because it was one of my first Halloween records, but Master of the Rings by Halloween would be.
Ooh, yeah. Kind of a deeper cut into Halloween discography.
Yeah,
But
I just love the '90s
yeah.
stuff they had. It's just great.
Yeah. Shout out to Andy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Shoot. Go ahead for another.
I mean, I'm about to do another Blind Guardian. Man.
Well, go ahead and do it.
Why not? I didn't say they
Yeah,
had to be
I
all
mean-
from different bands.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I guess I'd have to go Blind Guardian. See, I'm torn now between Nightfall, Middle Earth, or Somewhere Far Beyond. You know, so either one of those two, like those are two of my favorites as well. Like Nightfall, Middle Earth, like I think that's an incredible, like a masterpiece of an album. You know,
Yeah.
just like Imagination from the Other Side still like my favorite. I think close second will be Nightfall, Middle Earth, and then probably Somewhere Far Beyond. But I'm gonna try to think about a non-Blind Guardian. But
I'll say Virgin Steel's House of Atreus Act 1.
well,
I literally listened to that yesterday at work.
Really?
Yeah.
Back when the glory days of David DeFay, you know.
yeah, the old stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I mean,
Or Invictus. Invictus is always, you know, up there. But I really loved House of Atreus Act, the first one.
yeah. I might have to throw a Hammerfall in there.
Yeah,
You know, I really like some of the older Hammerfall. I mean, Crimson Glory
Crimson Thunder.
or Crimson Thunder, Crimson Glory. Well, shout out to Crimson Glory as well. But
Yeah, that was my first record.
Crimson Thunder by Hammerfall, that was very influential, like for me, like in my early days of learning how to play guitar and like getting into this crazy genre that is power metal.
Yeah.
But
So that's all three of yours. I got one more, man.
you looking around the room for posters?
Yeah.
Stradivarius?
Yeah, but which one? Elements Part 1 by Stradivarius.
Elements Part 1 by Stradivarius. All right. That's a good one too.
Yeah, I love Stradivarius. Okay. While you've been talking, I've been like doing a lot of backspacing and typing because I wanted to get three of my own that you didn't say. So
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Curious.
my three that I have here would be Black Halo by Camelot, Land of the Free by
okay.
Gamma Ray, and Temple of Shadows by Angra.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very solid. That is very solid.
I remember when you first got Black Halo.
Black Halo,
We
yeah.
didn't stop
Yeah.
listening to that. Both of us were listening
Yeah.
to it for like a month.
It's a great album. It
There's
really
like a
is. And of course,
gothic element to it that I think it makes it
Yeah.
very unique.
I always like that. It's dark and there's like very atmospheric. There's a lot going on, you know, but then it's got those theatrical and then it's got those big hooks. I'm just like, this is yeah.
Come
Yeah. That was my introduction to Camelot as well, that album. I was like, I got it on a whim, you know, and I was just like, damn, what did I just get? This is awesome.
on.
I'm
So
sure we could
Temple of
have
Shadows,
Temple of Shadows, yeah, by Angra. That's my
Yeah.
favorite Angra record.
one of my favorite drum.
Hers.
Yeah, drummers of
Uh.
all time. But just I was just the drums on that album are so
Oh, yeah.
solid, you know. Yeah. And I got to be honest, I haven't owned that Gamma Ray CD.
Yeah.
I haven't listened to it, so I'll have to check that one out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What Gamma Ray album was it again?
Oh, Land of the Free.
Land of the
Oh,
Free.
yeah.
I may have heard a couple songs, but
We
I never
definitely
actually
heard.
heard the song.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have talked about Sonata Arctica.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Politica. Oh, man. Yeah. Reckoning.
Reckoning.
That was a good one. Yes.
Yeah, we really went through Sonata Arctica hard in our early days.
That was also
2006, 2007.
one of the first shows we ever played as a band too. Was opening for Sonata Arctica back in 2007. They played in Orlando. Once again, another thrown into the deep end situation.
We brought them a bottle of Finlandia.
Oh yeah. This, yeah. Awesome, man.
A little on the nose.
Yeah.
Well, I don't really have any other questions for you, but of course, I want to kind of give the floor to you to kind of close this out. Tell people whatever you need, where they can find you on social media, where they can get merch, where they can hear the music. You know, do all the plugs. You know, it's yours. Go for it.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you so much for having us. And yeah, I mean, you can check us out. I mean, Seven Kingdoms official, I believe, on Instagram, Facebook. What else? I mean, there's our merch. It's Big Cartel. Dot
You can find the
Seven Kingdoms, whatever / Seven.
Yeah, the links on our social. We do got a new website. Is it Seven Kingdoms? Or is it official Seven Kingdoms? See, God, it's too new for us.
Yeah, I think we're
mainly our socials or what we go on.
Yeah, the Instagram and Facebook, you know.
And RPM is going to be releasing the new video pretty soon.
Yeah, this I believe it's this week.
Yeah.
You know, we'll be having our second, you know, single, so to speak, will be released. So like look for that. YouTube, obviously. So
Spotify,
Spotify, all the things. Type Seven Kingdoms in search, metal, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, thank you so much.
And make sure to see us on the upcoming tour.
Yeah.
And if you're in Europe for European tour,
shout out to the Europeans. Yeah.
Well, thank you once again for joining me, and for everyone watching at home. Make sure to keep a lookout for The Square coming out for Raining Phoenix Music November 8th. As always, thank you to my patrons. You're the best. Thank you for watching. Keep it metal. My name is Maddie, aka Beavermoth, and I'm out of here. Bye.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Thank you.